Good morning again. I am still Dan Handelman with Portland Cop Watch. And a few weeks ago, I came to testify about the $500,000 you put into the service coordination team bill for this past fiscal year, or current one, I suppose. And now another $125,000 is being approved to pay for these beds. And nobody's against treatment programs that I know of. I think everybody thinks there should be treatment programs for people who need it and want it. But I think what the issue I raised last time is that, first of all, this shouldn't be on the consent agenda because it's a controversial program. The service coordination team keeps a secret list of people who are arrested over and over and over again by the police at their own discretion with little to no judicial oversight. The person who raised this issue in court recently was Eldon Rosenthal. This is an attorney who went to bat to take down the Aryan nations after Mulugeta Sirah was beaten and killed, and he defended Brandon Mayfield when the federal government wrongly accused him of being a terrorist who bombed a train in Spain. Eldon Rosenthal doesn't take things on lightly. I'm sure he would not be taking on this program if he thought that it was just a peachy thing. So I'm hoping you'll take another look at this whole service coordination team question. It's not clear to me, we're a volunteer group that has a lot of other stuff we're trying to look at. Their police review board, police conduct, train people on their rights. We don't have time to scour your budget. I don't know if you've approved money for this upcoming fiscal year. It'd be nice to hear from council if you're planning to continue the service coordination team program, which, as I said, is controversial and has had a court ruling that was a mixed bag about whether or not the police can continue to keep the secret list. And I understand you're just paying a bill, but I really feel like this is something that we should have a public discussion about. And I certainly learned from last time that I don't get the last word here, and this is not the greatest place to have a discussion like this, but I would like to really encourage the council to discuss these issues like the sit-lie law and like this on the regular agenda, and continue to look at the questions that we've been raising here, and Portland Cop Watch is not alone in raising them. And I mentioned before, too, that the public defenders should be involved if this is going to continue. They should be involved in selecting who can go to treatment. And they've been saying, why should my client have to be arrested over and over and over again to get the treatment bed that they want when they want to do it on their first arrest instead of having to be arrested 100 times or whatever.
Commissioner Leonard?
Yes.
Just 2 quick points, sir. First is I had the pleasure of touring the residential treatment facility and met with a number of the, quote, chronic arrestees who told me that this was the single most important program in their lives in terms of turning around lives of addiction and crime to a path to self-sufficiency. And they were the most eloquent proponents of this particular program. And second, and Dan, I just want to make sure the record's clear. Either I read this or Mr. Rosenthal told me this, that in the course of the litigation, the list was actually disclosed. Is that correct?
I think somebody had a copy of it.
My question was, during the course, it was disclosed, correct?
I don't know the answer to that.
I believe the press account said that, and I believe the lawyer confirmed that. So I just want to be clear. There's a list. I don't believe it's secret anymore. I think it was published in the course of the litigation. But I also respect your point about items that are on the consent agenda versus the regular agenda, and that's why we give citizens the right to move them forward.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Fritz?
I have a question, and I can get the answer later. Are these extra beds, or are they are we paying for the existing capacity? Do we know if this actually funds 3 extra beds somewhere?
These are paying for 3 current beds that we have, and it's a
right,
contract with the county.
Is it, like, I used to work on a 20-bed unit at OHSU, and there were 2 of those beds that at one point were assigned to a particular company so that we couldn't fill those beds with somebody else. Is this 3 of 20, or does it add 3 to make it 23 in a similar kind of unit?
I believe it's adding 3 additional beds.
And
Commissioner Leonard may know better than I am.
To be really clear, this strictly speaking, Dan, isn't the program you're addressing. This is a particular contract with the Volunteers of America that we established to take clients of Volunteers of America who have had a history of actually violent criminal activities, and as part of their treatment program, they agree to go to these treatment beds. So they, strictly speaking, aren't the people you're talking about that get arrested as a result of this list and then are told you either go to jail or go to treatment. These folks come from although a criminal background, actually a more severe criminal background, they voluntarily enter this program as part of their Volunteer of America participation.
I'm sorry, the ordinance refers to the service coordination team, so.
I'm sorry?
The
It
ordinance-
does, because it's part of the approach, but it isn't strictly speaking, these clients aren't specifically the ones that come from that list. They aren't literally arrested and then told you either go to treatment or you go to jail. They're already in a treatment program as part of a probation program and an ongoing participation in Volunteers of America. Your point, although well taken, and I was actually going to, did you have a further question?
No, thank you.
As I said last time you brought this up, I mean, I don't think anybody here has a better record than I do of not supporting activities that I think infringe on individuals' constitutional rights. To rehash that, the Joint Terrorism Task Force, I let us withdrawing from. I've not supported the sit-lie ordinance. I have not supported the prostitution and drug-free zones for much the same reasons you do. And while I've never said this publicly, I have had private conversations with the police about this. I do not understand why they keep this, they allow this issue to exist that people incorrectly refer to as the secret list. These are people who are arrested. Those are public records. And you get to the top of the list by having the most arrests. And why they don't just disclose that is a mystery to me, that they allow this issue to be kind of like this diversionary discussion that takes away from a program that as Commissioner Fish just described, saves people's lives. And it allows for this other discussion that is really irrelevant, that doesn't make any sense to me, because people on the list are there only because they have the most amount of arrests.